Shedeur Sanders has a Cleveland Browns problem. Browns owner's comments reflect decades-long inconsistency at quarterback position. The Cleveland Browns don't have a Shedeur Sanders problem. Shedeur Sanders, much like any other quarterback drafted or signed to the franchise since it returned to the league in 1999, has a Cleveland Browns problem. Speaking to the media earlier this week, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam revealed that the franchise's high-profile, fifth-round selection of the former Colorado and Jackson State quarterback wasn't his choice. "Listen, we have a good process. If you'd have told me Friday night, day 2 of the draft, driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would have said, that's not happening," said Haslam, who with his wife Dee has owned the Browns since 2012. "But we had a conversation early that morning, and we had a conversation later that day. At the end of the day, that's Browns general manager Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Truth Serum has been Haslam's calling card for most of 2025. In March, Haslam admitted quarterback Deshaun Watson's albatross $230 million fully guaranteed contract was a big swing and miss. When asked what he's learned in his 13 years of owning the team, Haslam's weapon of choice was self-deprecatory humor. "You'd think it doesn't look like much," he yucked. Yet, Haslam's passive-aggressive comments about Sanders' place on the roster are telling. Haslam didn't say that because he didn't think Sanders was going to be available in the 5th round. He said that because he never wanted him there to begin with. Sanders hasn't taken his first official snap as a professional, and his career has already had twists and turns. From the combine to the draft, everyone has had an opinion about Shedeur Sanders. That his attitude while meeting with teams was part of the reason for his historical slide in April's draft, making national headlines to the point that the White House addressed the matter. That this was all part of a league-wide statement to his father, Deion Sanders, all but saying their last name didn't wield the power to tell team owners when and where to draft his son. Or that maybe Shedeur Sanders wasn't nearly as talented as his college highlights and eye-popping statistics suggested. For Shedeur's part, he has handled the criticism in stride. He's ingratiated himself within the Cleveland community, and he appears to be taking the uphill battle as part of life in the big leagues. Since 1999, 3 years before Shedeur Sanders was even born, the Browns have cycled through 40 different starting quarterbacks. Only 3 times has a quarterback started an entire season: Tim Couch in 2001 and Baker Mayfield in 2019 and 2020. And, since 1999, the team is 141-278-1. The Browns' current quarterback room could be its own TED Talk in the diversity no fanbase would feel comfortable making hotel reservations for the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, California in February 4, 2 rookies in Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, a journeyman, at best, in Kenny Pickett, one recovering from a torn Achilles and an irreparable public image in Watson and a 40-year-old Joe Flacco. Haslam's comments were a testament to what the Browns have been, very inconsistent, especially at the quarterback position, said Cleveland native and lifelong Browns fan Tremaine Thomas. "I want Shedeur to get a fair shot to play because at this point, we don't have a lot to lose at the quarterback position. Shedeur was rated higher than Dillon Gabriel, and I think he's better than him overall, but unfortunately, I don't think Haslam believes in him. I don't expect too much out of this season. That's probably going to end up being the end of Berry and/or head coach Kevin Stefanski. So where does that leave Shedeur if Berry isn't here, the guy that drafted him? I just hope he gets a chance. I'm rooting for him." Whether this is all a result of Deion Sanders standing around the league and the larger football culture in America is subjective. What's objective, however, is Shedeur Sanders' desire to go at this alone. He recently told his Hall of Fame father not to attend Browns practice. He was like, "Dad, I may get 3 for reps in practice. I don't want you seeing that. No, I'm not where I want to be. Let me get where I want to be." He ain't mad. He ain't bitter, Deion Sanders said in an interview with close friend and former Dallas Cowboys teammate Michael Irvin. He's like, "I got work to do, but I'm going to put in this work. One thing, they're going to have to let me play. When preseason comes, watch me work." Shedeur Sanders' proving ground begins August 8 in the Browns' first preseason game at Carolina. He figures to have 2 more opportunities to impress in an August 16 game at Philadelphia and the preseason finale at home versus the Los Angeles Rams on August 23. In a matter of weeks, Sanders could win over the Cleveland front office that was divided in drafting him, or he could be a free agent searching for another opportunity in another city before the start of the season. The adage "beggars can't be choosers" wasn't said initially with the Cleveland Browns in mind, but it certainly applies. In an AFC North division with top-tier quarterbacks in Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, and the Pittsburgh Steelers thinking Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, there's no team or fan base more desperate for long-term stability at the game's most coveted position than the Browns. Yet Cleveland is quarterback purgatory, and this is where Shedeur Sanders hopes to find the next chapter of his football life. To make matters worse, there seems to be people within that organization who are quietly, if not actively, rooting for his downfall. This is where the dog pound stands on the eve of the Browns' quarterbacks past. Names like Couch, Quinn, Whedon, Kaiser, and Manziel, each once believed to be the answer, only to become another chapter in the NFL's longest-running carousel. A history etched in uncertainty. Since returning to the NFL in 1999, the Browns have started over 30 different quarterbacks. Some were drafted with top picks. Others were journeymen, stopgaps, or experimental reclamation projects. But none, until possibly now, offered the stability of a franchise face. Haslam, who took ownership in 2012, inherited some of the chaos, but also played an instrumental role in perpetuating it. Under his tenure, the Browns have had 6 head coaches and even more offensive coordinators, making it nearly impossible for any young quarterback to thrive. Systems changed yearly. Expectations reset. Patience wore thin. It's a results-driven league, Haslam once said, defending the firing of yet another coach. But the irony was never lost on fans. The instability at the top often made results impossible to achieve. The Deshaun Dilemma. The $230 million fully guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson in 2022 was meant to change all that. It was a seismic bet, not just on Watson's talent, but on the belief that he could erase the ghosts of Browns quarterbacks past. The move sent Browns fans don't just want a star quarterback, they crave one. They long for someone to root for year after year, someone whose jersey won't end up duct-taped over with the name of the next, maybe. Haslam's recent comments, intended to signal competitiveness.